So, y'all, I don't have no makeup on this morning, and I don't feel like explaining myself. So, let me turn this down. Y'all, yesterday I had bought a jar of pickles. I really don't eat pickles like that, but I was like, you know what? I want to try to make one of them Subway sandwiches at home and add little pickles and stuff like that on there. So anyway, when I got home and I tried to open the jar of pickles, I couldn't get it open. I was trying with all. I didn't want to ask my mother to open because I'm thinking like my mom, she's weaker than she got to be weaker than me, because I no big girl. Like, I mean, I work out. So I was like, okay, banging it. I tried to take the cloth and open it. My hands is hurting. And I was just like, see, this is the mess I'm talking about. So you know what I thought in the back of my mind, right? What I'll do is I'll just take the jar of pickles with me. And if I come across a man, I'll just be like, excuse me, sir, could you please open up these jar of pickles? And then I started to think and got a little discouraged and was like, sometimes it really pays to be a man or to have a man around. And then I started to think, and I was like, no, but I depend on God for everything. And y'all, I literally looked up and I put the jar of pickles up and I said, Father, could you please open this jar of pickles? And literally, y'all, I put my hand over the jar and it twisted open like it was nothing. Like it twisted open like it was nothing. And I just started laughing. And I was like, God, I should have just, I can just feel the Lord now. Like, yeah, you should have just asked me off the break. Sometimes you try to do things on your own and then you end up going through the whole emotions, not able to open it, not able to do certain stuff because you trying to do it. And then you going, and then all of a sudden you thinking you got to go seek other help. And then you thinking like, oh, it pays to have a man around and this, that, and the third. And all I had to do was ask God, y'all. But needless to say, I got my pickles open. My pickles are open, and I was able to take a nice crunch. But it literally dawned on me. I was like, let me just ask God. Like, I'm like, Father, I just put the pickles up, and I was like, can you open this for me? And I literally, right when I asked him that, I just twist the top open like it was nothing. And I know it wasn't me. It was God that did it because I was straining, okay? Like my hands, I was just like, this jar gotta open. And then I started to like really think, okay, this is what I'll do. I'll take the jar with me and I'll see if I could come across a guy. Lord, it was like, I mean, when I tell y'all it, I was like, like, Father, I should have asked you from the jump. Yeah, I should have asked you from the jump. I always ask you for everything else. I should have asked you to open up that jar of pickles. But anyway, so yeah, so I was able to get those open. So whenever you going through a certain situation and you feel like you can't ask, you don't want to ask folks, the first person that you need to ask is God. You need to ask the Father. Because I should have asked him off. I mean, I was straining y'all. I was like, oh, I mean, my hands, and I be trying to put on my little lady gloves. I be feeling like my hands look like I've been on the plow. Like I just be doing a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, and I don't think I told y'all what happened to my lawnmower. I think I tried to do a video, but the video was going in and out. But anyway, I ended up calling the lawnmower guy. He came over immediately the next day. He took the two lawnmowers that I told him he can have, and he did fix my lawnmower. The belt actually jumped over, so he took it all apart and he put it back together because the filter was caked with dirt, and I was looking like, yeah, I knew that. So So I thank God for that because, I was like, what am I going to do? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Excuse my, I don't got no makeup on, so hey. So this was the filter I had to go pick up yesterday for the lawnmower. You could get those at like AutoZone and Auto Track and stuff like that. So so he ended up fixing it, and I paid him like $60 to drive out there, and so I was just extremely grateful. So how have I been since this is my fourth week out of um, I'm doing little side stuff or whatever like that just to make sure my money is flowing. And while I'm doing that, I'm passing out my realtor cards. So and I've been, taking like the little classes and stuff. You know how they try to get you amped and how to get clients and stuff like that. But I am on my own terms, or at least, trying to get together certain things on my own terms. I did recently have an interview as another property manager because it's more like a takeover. And I actually like this company because this company is fairly new. And I told them what I expected, like far as my pay. I don't know. She told me that they're basically taking over a property, which I'm like, I'm so used to that. But I kind of got mixed feelings with it. The feelings that I have is like, yeah, the money may be good, but do I really want to be invested? And so it's literally right now because I'm, out here freelancing or whatever like that. It's basically me trying to make my money and do it on my own terms. And I like that. I love taking my daughter to school and picking her up. I love being home at a certain time when it's still light outside and I'm still able to do what I need to do. So I'm just like, okay, Lord, I'm literally depending on you for all of my needs, and I'm just asking for direction. And I have been really back to um, controlling my thoughts. Um, Good morning. I've been really back to like controlling my thoughts, like the things that I think about, and really and going in depths of we are what we become. We are what we think about. I already knew that. My company, with my bottle of water, um, I am that speak, drink, think positive. It's modeled around that. And what I realize is like when you're in that work, that 9 to 5, that 8 to 6, or 8 to 5, 9 to 6 mode, we get so complacent into that mode so much that when you're not there or you don't have that particular paycheck, you think like the world is going to come to an end. But it doesn't. Like there's different means to get out here and make money. Um, but the best mean is doing something that you really want to do and not something that you feel like you have to do. So I still got a whole bunch of stuff that I need to do around the house. Like I haven't even gone to pick up my begonias yet. And the landscapers, they like to go to this spot. And I'm gonna show y'all these begonias. And I have to pick my begonias up and a couple of my plants. And then in the next week or so, I have to call the pool man to come out and open the pool up. But in the meantime, between time, I'm just grinding. Like I'm just out here doing little side stuff and just putting my stuff in order. And I'm really trying to find out a creative way to get clients because all I need is clients. Y'all, let me tell you, I took a side hustle um, job or whatever like that. When I mean job, it's like, you delivering for Uber, not Uber, what's it called? Amazon. And I was in I was in Great Falls, right? And that's in Virginia. And when I tell you, these folks got like little mini mansions out there. I call them mini mansions. I pulled up and I was like, see, this is my type of tribe right here. So you know what I did? You like Mona? No, we don't. What did you do? I whipped out that business card and was putting them on their daggone front doors, like holler at me if you ever need to sell this property. Yes, I had to whip out the business cards, like, look. And I was like, oh my gosh, it is so gorgeous out here. One house, when I tell you, it looked like it had a willow tree in front of it, and it had a beautiful pond. Looked like a man-made pond, but whatever, it was a pond. I just thought it was just so pretty. This is when you know they got money. It's when you pull up and the freaking gate is just draped with like gold trimmings on it, and it has the initials. I'm like, look at this. But anyway, so I've been doing stuff like that, and of course, I've still been doing like little interviews and stuff like that. But I'm really looking for something like more so like work at home, kind of like part time, because I don't want to waste my real estate. I don't want to, and I did that with my last position. My last position, I worked completely full time. At the same time, I was a realtor, paying all of these realtor fees, and I wasn't using it. I wasn't using it at all. Like I was just paying for the fees, paying for the dues, and just not even using it. But this time I'm really hoping that I gain some clients. And so that's pretty much it. So that's pretty much it. So my motto has been like, take it day by day. Only worry about the things that's in today, because today got enough stuff of its own. And today can actually make or break your tomorrow. So you got to be very careful what you think about. You got to be very careful of the company that you keep. You got to be careful of what you look at too. So I just been really like trying to like really focus in on the stuff I need to do. This is not a lot of rush hour. I mean, everybody else is gone right about now. um my daughter, she was like, I don't want to go to school today. And I was like, why don't you? Last week she was like, because it's too much work. And I was feeling her too. I was like, Dad, it's too much work. I'm like, Dad, y'all do need a little rest. But unfortunately, those are the rules. It was so funny, y'all. Yesterday, my daughter was like, Mommy, you have to say nice words. And I said, okay. She's so sensitive. And I said, so what are the bad words Mommy say? She gonna yell and say, settle down. I said, that's what I say, settle down. She was like, yes, settle down. I said, oh, well, next time I'm gonna say, settle down, please. I said, wow, so that's the bad words I be saying. Kids are so funny. They are so funny. They are so funny. Um, but yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I did go to the gym the other day, so I think I may like when I finish today. I think I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna start working out. Not start working out. I'm gonna do my workout. Um, Usually, and I think I told y'all, like, I'm trying to switch up my workout routine. I've been doing more like these little step aerobic things and trying to stretch more. I don't know why. It's hard for me to get rid of this belly. And it's not even like, I just feel like it's just flabby down there. Like, it's just, and I feel like I never had a flabby belly until I had that last job. That's because I was sitting on that chair for daggone 9 to 12 hours. And I felt like those muscles just wasn't, they were in use. So I just got a kangaroo pouch. So but I also miss jogging too. I'm waiting for like the weather to warm up so I can start like getting back to like jogging. Um and yeah. Also too, with my last job, they were like, your benefits are gonna end on the 30th too. And I was like, okay. And I think I told y'all last time I was paying like $500 a month for in medical insurance for me and my daughter. So the first thing I did was when I left that job, I went ahead and made appointments. So my daughter's caught up with all her dental, all her medical, like all her appointments was caught up. And then I had to get an implant done. So I got an implant like right here. I literally had 4 implants in my mouth. When I was in high school, I had to get a tooth pulled right here. I'll never forget that. And then I had to get another one pulled. And this was with my grandmother's dentist at the time. And he was bringing out tools from the 1500, like them look like dungeon tools. I remember I asked my cousin, could she go with me? And I was always a crier and a screamer back then. And I'll never forget my cousin was holding my hand and I was like, ah! I was screaming while he was pulling my toe. And next thing you know, I felt my cousin's hand like go faint. And she fainted and took all the stuff down. I stopped crying and looked over. He said, what's wrong with her? Both of us had to be escorted out of the daggone building. I'm all shaking after he pulled my tooth. So anyway, so I had to get 2 implants put in. I got these 2 implants put in like um 3 months ago. Where the first thing they do is they have to drill and put your implant um down in there, and then you have to wait, and then you have to go in, and then he has to put the fake teeth on top of it or whatever. So that's completely done. And so because I had such good insurance, they wanted to do the other one, and I was like, oh, you already did my first one. He did my first one, which was up here, but I never got the thing put over it. But the first implant he did, y'all, this is real. I got my implant done and then I changed jobs. So I had my own insurance. One thing I would tell anyone is whatever you are doing, always have your own dental insurance. Like, even though I'm no longer with my last job, I still have my own because I had 2 dental insurance. And I did 2 dental insurance on purpose because I knew I wanted to get a lot of work done. So if anything ever happened, I still got that other insurance. So I pay like $40 a month for that. And then, so when I had 2 of them, I was getting both, insurances to cover a bulk of it or whatever. But years ago, when the implants first came out, he did my first implant. And then my insurance changed and I had the insurance that I have now. And I went to dental school, and the dental school is called, it's like a dental school in Baltimore. It's like one of the best top dental schools in Baltimore. If you ever need major work like implants, bridges, root canals, fillings, go to a dental school. They would accept your insurance and they would do like 80% less than what the real dental offices charge you. Plus, because they're students, they're going to do a better job. Their job is to they assess your whole mouth. They come out with their little uniforms. So peep this, y'all. This is a real true story. So you know where I used to work at, I was a property manager. But we also had a tenant, and meaning we also had like a dental office there, right? And um I was telling my staff at the time, I was telling them about the dental school that I went to, and that how when they would look at that implant, they'd be like, "Oh, whoever did that, they did great work." So I would tell my dentist that, and he'd be like, "Oh," he'd be laughing and chuckling like, "Oh, well, thank you," because I'm like, everybody gave me like, when they saw my implant at that dental school, they were just so blown away by the work. And even though I was a patient, you kind of felt like you're a student too, because you find out what the pulp is and the drill, and they would numb you and all this other stuff, and you would kind of be working with them. So y'all, this is some real stuff. So when I was explaining to my staff about the dental school I went to, I just realized I needed to meet up with the dentist that actually worked in that building. Then I also realized she kind of looks like the student that worked on my mouth 10 years ago, and her name is similar. So when I was telling them about that, it just dawned on me like this lady looks very familiar. So anyway, after that, later on that day, the dentist came in to meet with me because there were some signage issues going on with the parking area, and I needed to sit with her so we can kind of go through what her original contract and all that was. So I said, let me ask you this question, just like off the not about this, but did you ever go to a dental school in Baltimore? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, because I was just telling my staff that, years ago I went to the dental school, and then I noticed like your name sounds very familiar. And she said, yeah, but I went there like 10 years ago. I said, yeah, that was around that time. And she was like, well, wait a minute, what was your name? She was like, Ramon. And she was like, because you look familiar. So she said, hold on, because I kept my patients' names in in her phone, y'all. She went through and she said Ramona, and she said my maiden last name. And I started screaming. She called out my number. And I said, I cannot believe it's you. I said, I still got that feeling that you did. So she's cracking up laughing. You gotta understand, this tooth that she did all the way in the back, every dentist wanted to pull it. But it was a student who she felt it, and she did an amazing job that I still have that feeling to this day. And I said, I still have this feeling in my mouth, and you did. She was like, oh my gosh. We were like, oh my goodness. Like now she has her own practice, but she was at the dental school I went to. And then all of a sudden, when I said that, her face popped up, but she looked much younger. I mean, we were both older now. And I could not believe, in her practice is like booming successful. And I'm happy for her. She was so nice. But I remember when she was in them y'all used to come out with y'all coats on and stuff. And she was my doctor at that time, with my dentist. So she would call my name, and I would go in, and she would assess my mouth and everything. Yeah. I was like, this is I said, I still got that feeling that you did. And it was crazy because the students were like at all because of the implant that my dentist did, the licensed dentist. But the other dentist was at all at the work she did, because, everybody else was like, you're going to have to get it pulled. But yeah, so if you ever need like dental insurance, get your own dental insurance, especially if you are an entrepreneur, you got your own business. Like, you can get your own dental and your own health coverage. That's one thing I'll never do ever again. If I do decide to go back in for a little bit full time, I'll never pay $500 out of my pocket every month for a medical, because it should have been 30 days behind for me to use it, but I wasn't even using none of that stuff. I was just paying just in case, but just in case, that could have been money in the bank. That could have been money in my account. You get what I'm saying? So I wasted a lot with that. Um, so I just been basically grinding and just, keeping looking for like work at home jobs. But that other one, it was kind of enticing. I was like, so I did spruce myself up, and I did do an online a Zoom interview. So I like the simple fact that that's a new company. They've only been up and running since 2017, which means they're not as huge as the last Titanic company I used to work for. That company is just, a company is so big that when you try to get help for something, they tell you to put in a ticket. You got to put in a ticket for everything. You got to put in a ticket for everything. Like, it got to the point I started making Google emails for leasing. Like, I'm not about to put in a ticket for this. I'm not about to sit up here and wait 10 days for y'all to get back to me. But those type of companies, they're so big, like you don't know who's who, and I don't ever want to work for folks like that ever again. Startups, I can do, or when they're fairly new, because they're more humble and they're looking for folks who've been in the game for a minute. So, and that's another thing too. You have a lot of companies too that's really not trying to go with folks who've been in the game for a long period of times, because then they can walk around with this cocky attitude like, I don't have to do that. I mean, each his own. Everybody lives the way they want to live. But I know personally, so far so good. I like doing my own thing. I don't know. You can get used to making money on the side, and then I'm challenging myself to make as much as I made. I want to make more than what I made when I was working full time. And I'm like, if I hit my quota, even with some odd jobs or a little side stuff, making more than what I was there, then that's a done deal for me. Then I know, like, I look at a lot of videos where folks are just like, I left my corporate job and I'm really feeling so, I feel like myself again. And I just been listening to that. And I'm like, I know the feeling. I was able to clean my entire room up. I was able to go through my closet, put everything up, and I was able to take all the things that I haven't wore that's just been sitting in my closet. I washed those things and put it in a huge bag, and then I donated those items. Like, I'm trying to purge and get rid of stuff that I'm not using. Also, too, my daughter, she's been praying at night for our home to be renovated, and I'm like looking at her like, our home ain't that daggone bad. She was just like, Lord, and if we can renovate our house, and she was like, we can have a terrace. I'm like, a terrace. And then she was like, we just need to renovate our house. She wants our house to be one of them aquanauts, the aqua pad or something like that. I'm like, wait a minute. You want us to renovate our stuff to some underwater spaceship? Kids are so funny. I told her we gonna paint her room a different color. She was like, the aqua pad. I'm like, off of the aquanauts. Kids are so funny, y'all. But yeah, so and y'all, when she said the aqua pad or whatever that thing is called, that spaceship, I'm thinking to myself, you really think that mom is going to turn our house into a giant squid? I'm like, kids have huge imagination. She been praying too. If I'm talking about, we've been sitting up here praying at nighttime, praying for our country, our family, our friends, and then she finished it off and Lord, please have the renovation like the aqua. I'm like, what? She be for real about that. I'm gonna have to buy her a big, huge tent. But yeah, so hold on, y'all, real quick. I gotta make sure I'm heading in the right direction. because it wants to see whether or not you're going to be silly enough to follow it. Silly enough to follow it. Oh, and let me tell y'all what I did too. So I put my seeds down on my grass. It's looking really green, y'all. It's looking really, really green. It's looking extra green. It's looking green, green. This time I went back with my Falsate Kentucky, what is it, Kentucky 41? Kentucky, whatever, tall Falsate grass. And I put the seeds in the back and in front, and it is looking green. I gotta get my begonias. I gotta get my pink begonias. And I usually keep it a secret where I get my stash from. Ooh, is this the right way? Instructions, know it. Don't always follow what the system is trying to tell you, because the system can have you go all around the universe, and literally you're only 6 minutes up the street. And sometimes they want to see, sometimes I feel like these GPS systems, sometimes I feel like they want to see whether or not you're going to follow it or you're going to use your own brain. Sometimes I feel like they're like, oh, you don't want to go down there because that's going to create a lot of traffic, so we'll have you go around this way so we can, spread the traffic out. Although I'm only 6 minutes away if I go here, but you wanted me to make a left up there, and that would have meant I'm 41 minutes away. So always know your whereabouts. So I beat the system. I said, no, I'm not listening to you right now. And because of that, it saved me over 30 something more minutes. And now I'm on time before time. So my weight goal is to be at least 120 pounds. I'll be okay if I'm 125 pounds, but like 120 pounds. I have lost a lot of weight. And I just need to start being more consistent, like in my jogging and in my eating habits. Cause I'm gonna tell you right now, I got a sweet tooth like my dad. He used to eat them orange slices back in the day. Both of us to just be munching. And I need to throw away those daggone Easter baskets that we made, because I be munching on some jelly beans like it's like no tomorrow, and then I'll be sitting mad and upset with myself. I shouldn't have ate all those jelly beans. But I'm trying to get like on my healthy tip. You know what I mean? Wait a minute, Mona. Did you go the wrong way? I think you did. No, I didn't. Because I remember this. But I'm super early today. But yeah, y'all, when I was trying to open them, pickle them, I was straining. Like, I was like, oh, my fingers is about to be like, girl, we about to just break away from your hand, because you really think we'll be opening up jars like this for real? I was like, this gotta open. This just gotta open. Look at those little ducks in that dark pond. But yeah, y'all, today gonna be an awesome day today. I know one thing. They better not have me in no daggone downtown DC. Because yesterday, I don't know what in the world was wrong with Amazon that you thought that I was going. You thought I was going to be delivering downtown DC where there's no parking. You thought wrong. I'm not getting a ticket for nobody. Y'all, and then I called this lady, right? And I said, I am one of the carriers with Amazon, and I have nowhere to park. Would you like to come down and retrieve this package? Because if not, it's going to have to go back to the warehouse. She was like, usually you can just take it into the office and you can just deal with the concierge. And I said, ma'am, there's no parking. And this is my car. And I'm not getting a ticket for you. But as a courtesy, if you really need this package, come on downstairs. Because I was already double parked, right? So everybody passing me by, and I was asking, I said, excuse me, is your name such and such? And they were like, no. This shit comes out of nowhere. First of all, she tells me that she was in a meeting. She comes out of nowhere with some blue yoga pants on and a top like as if you were just doing Pilates. And she opens the car door, and I'm like, you're such and such. And she grabs the package. And it was like, you're in the wrong spot. And I said, you better be glad I even called you. You better, I'm like, I don't think you understand. This is not McDonald's. This is not you get it your way. I said, you better be glad I called you. And you rude too. You're welcome. Because they knew they was wrong for it. And I had to tell Amazon, like, I don't know was smoking or drinking when they went ahead and did those packages. But you do know that, like any other place, like I said, remember I was telling you that I went to a spot in Virginia, and those are residential. Like those are how you like you're really like a mail carrier. So those were easy. You just park the car and go up to the door and drop the package off and go on to the next one. But the issue was the last couple of days. The day before then, they had me in downtown Silver Spring, and I'm like, okay, so where am I supposed to park? And I see like these little what are those things? Those meters. I said, so who gonna pay for these meters? So I was paying for the meters. Then I started running out of quarters and running out of nickels. And I was like, ho. There ain't nowhere for me to park because I'm not gonna get a ticket for this. I'm just not. And so of course I called the people and I was like, I don't know what y'all want to do about this, but I number one, I couldn't deliver one of the packages because it was a business and they were closed, which means I'm gonna have to come all the way back to the station to drop that package off, which means the other ones, if I have to pay for parking and I don't have quarters, I'm not gonna be sitting up there sweating bullets trying to run a package into somebody. We're not gonna do that. You're gonna have to give it to those real carriers that be delivering stuff. So I had to turn around and drop off like four packages from that load because of that. And I told them that was a waste of my time because if y'all would have positioned them correctly, then I didn't have to drive all the way back to the station to drop those packages off because that was like a 45-minute drive when all I had to do was just deliver them and then go home. So I had to drive back. So yesterday, I guess they felt like we gonna give her the entire universe in her car. And as soon as I saw the address, I said DC, and they got apartment numbers. So what's up with this? I'm talking about I'm in the heart of DC, and this is when you see the FBI, they showing their little guns on the side. I see police officers on one end. All the parking is filled up, and you have to pay for it. So you know how they have like the street park, the meter parking, but all of them was booked. And I said, so how am I gonna get this package in here? Nobody thought about this. So the first one I couldn't deliver, the second one I couldn't deliver, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh. I said, ooh, a lot of packages going back. I had, I think, 40 packages, and I only delivered 9 and sent the rest of them back. And they still had to pay me for that. And then I was calling, I had to keep calling customer service, like, whose idea was this to send me into the heart of DC? There's no way that a carrier is going to be able to deliver those packages without getting $500 worth of tickets. and told. There's no way. Unless you have like a team member. Like I think for real, if you trying to do a side hustle, like a husband and a wife, one of y'all sit in the car and the other person run it up or whatever, while the other one, you know, kind of move around the block. But when you a one person show, I gotta be smart about my wheels because at the end of the day, I got other moves I gotta make. I got other jobs and stuff and things I need to do. I'm not about to lose my wheels over a package. My god sister was on the phone with her yesterday. She was telling me how this lady was fussing with her in Chicago because she ordered some food and she was on her way to get it. But her baby father, she said he was getting off the bus and he said, "Tell her I'm on my way." And the lady ended up getting she was cursing, talking about she is so mad over this $5 sandwich. I got a daggone $100 ticket. I said, "Oh, that's my cue." When she told me that yesterday, I said, "Oh no, we're not going here. We're not going there. We're not going here. We're going to deliver here." And it was places in DC that I'm like, where am I supposed to park? But as a courtesy, I did call the people and was like, could you come downstairs and get your package? One lady was like, I'm not at home right now. I mean, like, are they going to come back? And I'm like, I'm sure they are, ma'am. I'm sure they are. But that other lady, I can't believe she said, you're in the wrong parking space. I'm like, you must think I work for you. I said, you better be, and I told her, you better be glad I called you and waited, and you're welcome. She just, she literally opened my door. Like, I guess you must have thought like this vehicle belongs to Amazon or something like that. She just opened the door, and I was like, are you such and such? She snatched the package, like, how dare you, you peasant? How dare you ask me to come downstairs and pick up my package? And I was like, wow, you know, some people are rude. Some people are rude. And some people think because you work at a certain job or you're doing something on the side, they think that you're you're beneath them. You know, they think like you're so beneath me, you carrier. I said people are rude. I've always been kind and nice to people. I have. I've always been just as kind and nice to people. And I waited for her. I waited and I was double parked with my blinkers on so she can make her way down to get her package. And she showed me her disapproval. I said, "Oh, you're a rude individual. You're rude." I wouldn't have been like that. I would have been like, thank you so much, man, for waiting for me, you know. I really appreciate you. I always say that to people. I'd be like, I really appreciate you. You're really awesome. And then even like some, you know how some jobs like Geico, they'll be like, could you rate this customer service? What do you think that these people should do? Should you give them a high five, a free lunch, or a raise? I said you need to give them a raise. Matter of fact, add 200 in just off of a bonus as well. I would do things like that. You know what I mean? Because I would want somebody to do that for me. But some people they just be so nasty. So nasty. Like that one spot yesterday that I had to go to. I parked in there and I just wanted to run this thing up. And a lady came out. She said, ma'am, this is private property. I said, ma'am, could you please just let me just deliver this one thing and I will move it. Okay, ma'am. I said, thank you so much. She was nice. You know, she let me do that. But I said, see, this is what I'm talking about. I cannot, I don't have time to be getting tickets towed and all that other stuff. I don't have time for that. And then when I asked the prime folks, I said, look, what about like when I have to pay? Are y'all going to reimburse some quarters when I have to pay? Absolutely not. You are this, and we don't do that. I said, bet. And that means I'm going to have a hard no when it comes to any after hour deliveries and a hard no when I don't have access to get to the place that you want me to drop this package off because I cannot fly in here. Okay. Yeah, I think that's going to be the next thing that's coming is people flying. Um, I cannot fly. I'm talking about people with the fly suits on. Y'all see it? That's going to be the next thing that's going to come. People are going to be flying with them jet suits. Look, I would put on a jet suit and fly to Starbucks. Get me a cup of coffee and fly myself right back home. I could totally see that stuff coming out by the time my daughter's like a teenager. And I'm like, be careful with that thing on. But yes, I'm looking for the next come up. Who's this one? So I still got a minute. She could look her load look real small. Now, one thing I will say about this station that I like better than the other, I don't know what they were smoking on yesterday by giving me all of them loads the way they did. But I was like, okay, I'm thinking like maybe, they're not gonna be that far. I can hurry up and get rid of them. I don't know who said, why don't you send her into DC? Not just any part of DC, not just northwest, southeast. You gonna send me right by the Capitol and then be like, oh, you're here. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is a building. There's no parking. Tollway, tollway. I even took a picture of the meter lady. She was out there making bank. She has no problems with getting tickets. And there was one car, he had more tickets on it than you could count. I saw boots out there. I'm like, the devil is a liar. Which y'all thought I was gonna be a sucker and be like, let me just try to get rid of this pack. No, that's what you thought. I think this is my thing right here. Yeah, so I got a couple of so yeah, so the moral of the story is this. Don't be in a rush to get things. Don't be in a rush to go places without knowing the directions first. And don't always take a computer's when computers don't have advice, but don't always follow your GPS. Sometimes you have to go off your gut because what I just learned today, if I would have went off my GPS, I would have been 41 minutes behind. But I said no, it's just right up the street. It's only 6 minutes. I went off my thing and I was right. Also, too, don't be so quick that you need people to help you open up a jar of pickles. Ask God, and He'll get you out of that pickle. He will open that jar of pickles for you. You don't think, you know what I'm saying? And don't be so quick to think that life is over because, well, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? You gotta take it one day at a time and appreciate with that one day at a time. You get what I'm saying? But anyway, y'all, I'm about to go up in here real quick, get myself together. I gotta go up in here. And while I'm out and about, I will be passing out my I met one lady yesterday in the apartment. I said, "You live here?" She was like, "Yeah." I said, "You ready to buy a house?" She said, "I sure am." I said, "Well, I'm your girl." I gave her my card. Let me know because there's a lot of programs in the state now. Anyway, y'all have a blessed day today. Don't let nobody stress y'all out. Don't you be stressed out either. Ain't nobody got time for that. Do what you can do. And one day, don't worry about tomorrow because we don't even know what the next week gonna look like. We don't even know what tomorrow gonna look like. Not even the weatherman know what's gonna happen. They think they do, but they don't. Anyway, y'all have a blessed day today.